All right, all right. Here we go. See, I was so into it. I'm just like, keep playing. Good evening, good evening, good evening, good people. First and foremost, we are happy to be here today, and we want to say a welcome, y'all, to another episode of Talk Tuesday. We are so excited to be here. So, as you guys are coming on into the room, again, I just want to say welcome to Talk Tuesday. This is a series that is dedicated to empowering youth and families. This series is being brought to you by Steps Foundation, Inc., where advocacy meets education for the betterment of young minds. I am Abigail Ellis, your host and founder of Steps Foundation, Inc. Y'all know if you haven't been joining us for the last couple weeks, it has been a tremendous treat. And when I say a tremendous treat, y'all, we've been tapping into men's appreciation. And so we just wanted to come through and show appreciation for all the great things that men do day in and day out, paying homage to those men that are around us that we love dearly, that are doing all these great things, that need that recognition. Again, it's just a way for us to continue shining a spotlight on the vital roles that the men play in our lives and in our communities. So throughout this month, we have been exploring topics from fatherhood. Okay, what is that like for some of our men, and especially the changes in some of the traditional roles. We've had conversations about men support networks. So what does that look like with men looking for support systems and how they go about finding it? Today we are tapping in on men's self-esteem. Um, and it's just, one of those conversations that sometimes, it takes a toll on us. And we want to be able to have those candid conversations, and then just taking time to honor the men that are around us. And so I'm super excited because look, our girl is back. Sis is in the building. Look, I'm not even calling her a guest no more because she's not a guest either. Look, she might as well, she a co-host because she done been in here more times than most. So listen, welcome back, sis. Johnson is in the building, but she is in the building officially retired.
Thank you, thank you. And yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So I am super, super happy to kind of have you with us because again, like we can't speak on men's behalf, but we can speak about the men that we know and the loved ones that surround us. And so look, our men today are missing, and we definitely gonna miss them for this conversation, but we gonna still have the conversation. So I am super excited. So again, today's topic is about men's self-esteem. And so one of the questions, of course, that comes up when we think about men and their self esteem is typically like, what are the challenges that they tend to face when they're building and maintaining what we want to call healthy self esteem? So we know sometimes they don't get the best examples coming up, right? And so, and this, I can honestly say, like, this don't just apply to men, but we know women typically have that nurturing side, and so we always tend to be emotional, while our men are typically holding it in. And so, from your perspective, sis, what do you feel are some of the common challenges that our men face when trying to build and maintain healthy self esteem?
I think just in general, from I'm a big daddy's girl. Anyone who really knows me, you'll see my dad always around me. I have a son, and you'll always see my little legend. That's his name, and he is a legend with me all the time. So I'm not a man, but I definitely can tap into some of the different emotions that go around that way. And I've always worked in a very male dominated profession.
Yes.
From when I was in the military and now working in the sports industry, I think I'm like one of two women in my department. So I think one of one of the biggest things that kind of prohibits men from being able to like build their self-esteem is we're just built in a culture and a society where men are, expected to be just hard, dominant people who don't cry, don't express emotions, don't talk about their feelings. So I think it's a societal norm for them to kind of suppress those feelings.
I agree. I definitely agree. We did kind of tap into that last week, when we were talking about the things that people think are normal and how men are supposed to react and how, they let things out. And I do feel like society does play a huge role in that self-esteem. And for those of you who are watching who may not even understand, what that means, right? So self-esteem is really just how we see ourselves. And I do believe Caesar kind of tapped into this last week too, when thinking about how he views himself, the comparison piece, right? How sometimes men will compare themselves to other men. Do you see that a lot? Because I know, like, even in the on the military side of things, like that's a whole other dynamic of watching men in their self-esteem. Do you see a lot of comparisons? Like, are they comparing themselves to each other, comparing themselves to their fathers, comparing themselves to other people?
I think in some respects, but to me, I think it's more or less from, and this is just from how I perceive things. Like, obviously, I may see things a little different from Caesar. It's more like the opposite, the generational curses of absentee fathers, which kind of makes us all, men and women, kind of have that kind of gap or lack thereof. So, like, you didn't really have that role model figure growing up, so you kind of make that image. Because I know my father, he didn't know his father, so, in hindsight, it kind of made him have to learn how to be a father. And then with me and my ex, we chose to do, in vitro. So there is no technical biological father for my sons. So he has no real father figure in his life as I'm starting to, learn that as he becomes older. So there's really two, three generations of males who didn't really have that father figure, quote unquote, growing up. So I don't know if it's necessarily trying to emulate another man versus not really having that male figure around. So you're kind of figuring it out as you go, and you're like, okay, they're doing this, so I'm supposed to be doing this, or I didn't have this, so maybe I should have this. I don't think it's more like a rinse and repeat, copy and paste. It's more of a figuring it out as you go.
Ooh, that's a good one too, because I can agree with that. Not knowing who to emulate, right? If you don't see it, then there's nothing to emulate because you're not seeing it. And that brings up a good topic. So I know one of the things that Smitty always typically hones in on is the fact that he would view it as a perfect world if there was always a father in the home. But we always know that will not always be the case. That is not feasible for everyone, whether it's a matter of safety or personal preference. So how do we help our young boys find that person to connect to in order to have that healthy self-esteem? So I know you talk about legend a lot, and see, I can talk from my son's perspective too. I'm a boy mom too. But my little one is surrounded by so many people. He's a community baby. And so when we talk about that village that typically surrounds you to help raise your child, my baby has lots of men that surround him, as well as a multitude of women that surround him that he can kind of hone in on and tap into. So how do you create that environment for my nephew?
So one is my dad. Like, just growing up, my dad wasn't necessarily around a lot because my mom was remarried and my dad lived out of the States. So now that I'm older, it is actually because I was just with my dad in Legend for Father's Day. It's such a joy to see my dad be able to be a grandparent and kind of be a parent to a certain extent because we didn't get to do some of those things with my sister and myself. So my dad, thank God for me, he's still alive. He is that father figure in my son's life. And I think with me and my ex, we both do a a pretty intentional job to make sure that there are male influences around in his life. I have a lot of male friends just from work. I am pretty much a tomboy, so I definitely teach my son how to play sports. I love my sports. I definitely talk to him about working out. He does push ups. I talk to him about different things of discipline. Because I had to be such a parental figure to so many different soldiers throughout my career. It wasn't really much of a transition for me to still kind of have the same dynamic. Because if you're gonna be a parent figure to a lot of people, how could you not be a parent figure to your own child?
Oh, look, say that one more time, sis.
Don't put a collection plate on me. But if you're gonna be a parental figure to others, how can you not be a parental figure to your own child?
So I had to repeat that because that's one of the things that typically comes up, and it don't matter whether it's a male or a female, right? People will oftentimes go and parent somebody else's child, but they're not necessarily parenting their own. And I think that statement alone does play a role in self-esteem, especially in kids, because while you may not think that they see it, they do. And if it's a small town, whether they see it or not, they're gonna hear about it. And it's one of the things that always comes up, and it becomes the teaser for the school bully, right? Where then they have those things to say, and then it makes the kid feel bad about themselves when it's something that is beyond their control. It is of no fault of their own, but it will make a child feel less than. And it's that wanting, like kids want both parents because they don't know anything else, right? So if I know that I have parent one and parent two, but parent one and two are not together, I'm longing and craving for a relationship with both. So that's kind of all I know. And until like other things start to play a factor in it, that's kind of when that self-esteem starts to hit. One of the other questions that I had is, and again, look, I am missing my men today because I need them to answer these questions. We got questions. Oh, snap. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. My Caesar here. Hey, Caesar, we live. How you doing, baby?
Hey, miss. Sorry I'm late.
It's okay.
Just woke up. I'm sorry. But yeah, I'm here. I'm here. I'm here.
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
Well, I thought you was at work. So I'm like, Caesar at work.
Nah.
Okay,
See,
Caesar
so
was
you need to get a
starting that
little nap
self-care.
in. I know that's right.
That self-care, sis, he was having self-care.
Caesar's value.
For sure.
Exactly. Exactly. Listen, that's something that's good for self-esteem too.
Oh,
Just
okay.
saying, just saying. He was getting that self-care in, getting that nap in. So look, Caesar, we happy to have you because we got some questions for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
He like, all right now. So you right on time. We're talking today about men's self-esteem. And so I brought up some of the things that you kind of brought up in the last 2 weeks where we were discussing, point of views and things that we like, how you feel about men in general. Like what is a man? What does a man do? And then how some of those things played a role in self-esteem. And
Mm-hmm.
so one of the questions that I asked Jocelyn, and she kind of gave an example, was what are some of the common challenges that men face when trying to maintain a healthy relationship or a healthy self-esteem?
Mm.
He like, why you gotta give me the hard question? Yeah.
So what are some of the man's challenges when
So
it
I'll
comes
even
to?
put it like this. I'm gonna make it personal for you.
All
Okay.
right, let's do it.
Yeah, this is gonna be personal to you. So when you think about some of the things that you faced over the years, right?
Mm-hmm.
What were some of the challenges that you had in trying to build and maintain good self-esteem for yourself?
For myself, I think the biggest challenge was mainly the people around me back then because I'm in a better spot right now and I don't think I would be in that spot if I was still hanging out with the people I was hanging out at the time. So I think not just that, but just staying positive and just accepting that change is good and all that.
Ooh, accepting that change is good. No, I gotta tap into that one. Because I know sometimes that's not always easy for people to see, right?
Yeah.
Um, for some people, they are accustomed to things always staying the same.
Mm-hmm.
And so, how did you get to a place where it became a good thing for you to accept change?
Well, to be honest with you, I don't like change. To be honest with you, but I learned that change is not always bad. It's not always. It can be good and bad sometimes. But it's for me it was good in that scenario because I was getting away from all the bad and ugly of my life, I guess. But to be honest with you, I don't like change. I'm one of those people who doesn't like change. But I try to cope with it in the way that okay, I'm gonna get through this, and I'm gonna get through the challenge. You know.
I love that. I love that. And that's why I brought it up because, like I said, like I know that change is not always the easiest.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it can become really, really hard for some people to accept the change. But to hear you say, accepting that change is good, I love that because we should accept change. We
Mm-hmm.
should not always want to be stagnant. If we remain stagnant, we don't grow. And
Exactly.
so, again, we've seen like so much positive growth come from you. And it's because you were able to accept the changes that were happening around you. And
Yeah.
so I wanted to highlight that because I know that you don't like change. But I also love the fact that you have learned to embrace the changes as they come and understanding that even if it's something that's not so great, you typically can find the positive or the good on the other side of it. So
Yeah.
I'm very, very proud of you. And that was a very great point for you to bring up.
Thank
Look, see, like I said, see, you right on time. You right on
I
time.
swear, yeah, I swear.
I am so happy. So, what do you think? How can you and other young men um, utilize setbacks and failures as opportunities for growth and improvement within self-esteem? So we know when you're building up that self-esteem, it's not something that comes overnight, right? It's not
Yeah.
easy to like look at yourself in the mirror, say you love yourself, look at yourself and be like, oh, I'm handsome. It's not always so easy to do that.
No.
How do you think you yourself and maybe some others that you've been around, how do you utilize those setbacks and failures as opportunities for growth and improvement?
Um, for me personally, I think I would say that I like failing because it shows me a way of learning. At least because I don't see like trying something new and failing at it as a downside, you know. And even with self esteem, I think failing at something that you're really trying at is really big because many people don't are not gonna try it. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people wouldn't. I wouldn't see it as failing as much as I don't know. I think it's a part of success. I think failing.
I love that. I love that answer. Because I certainly agree. Sis, as a mother with a young man, how are you showing my nephew Legend how to accept his failures and setbacks and helping to boost his self-esteem?
One thing for me, like, I was very close to my mother, so it's very, especially now that I only have those memories for me to kind of hone in to some of the ways she validated me. And like anytime I'm speaking or able to talk about it, and that she comes to me. My mother validated me from a young age, and she always told me I could do anything, and I was just crazy enough to believe her. Right, so I always try to instill in my son that you can do anything you want to do. You can be anyone you want to be. Don't let life limit you. So that's one way I do it. I just validate him. And then I tell him it's okay to lose. You know, he's very young. He's at the age where if he loses a video game or he loses any game, he blows up. Kind of explain to him like, you're gonna lose. You're not gonna win everything. You're not the best. And then I always explain to him because he always calls me buddy. Buddy doesn't win everything. Buddy isn't the best at everything. Because you know, with kids, they see what they see. You know,
Yeah.
so they look at it like you always win. You don't have failures in life. And I just try to show him that it's common and something that I do. So like probably some of my elders and stuff like that have told me that I spoil my son. I mean, if I do, I do. But I try
Yes.
to, and it's something I actually admire about you a lot. I take him to any space I'm in. I think when you normalize life to a child at a young age, it doesn't
Yes.
come across as though it's too much. And I think a lot of times with young people, young men in general, they become envious of things that they've never been exposed to, envious of things they never had. And I never want my son to feel like he has to rob, steal, or compete to be with others. So I feel like by exposing him to things at a young age normalizes it.
Yes. Yes. I love that. Well, you look, hold on. She gonna make me bring this collection plate for real. Caesar, she had
Let me
dropped something
slide now.
earlier.
Let me slide.
Listen, look, Caesar, she came up in here earlier already, like she dropped it early. And she also don't bring out the collection plate. Listen, she ain't tell me not to bring it out this time. So look. Yeah, yeah. Y'all know it's coming. It's coming. There it is. There it is.
Bang.
Dun 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 dun. All right, drive it out, drive it out. I love that though, because as a boy mom, you know, I felt the same way. Validating my son's feelings and also making sure that he understood his emotions are emotions, and it's okay to talk about them. It's okay to feel them and go through them. And I'm not here to judge you. And don't let somebody else tell you that it's not okay to cry, because you can cry. Boys cry, men cry. You feel just like everybody else does. You are not the human punching bag, nor do you have to pretend to be the human punching bag. Make people respect your feelings, because they want you to respect theirs. They need to respect yours. And it goes both ways. And so I made sure that he understood those things, because I knew what he was going to be up against. We know what the societal norms are. We know what people want boys to believe that they're supposed to become. But I wanted him to be able to feel secure and safe, however it is he chose to handle those emotions. And so he'll cry, and I'm like, I'll cry with you. We're going to cry together. And then I hit him with I'm going to do the ugly cry. And then he get mad. And then he laughed. And so I'm like, okay, so we done crying then. All right. But it's one of those things where I want him to always feel comfortable sharing his emotions and knowing that it's okay. And I feel like if we had more of that in young men, some of our men would be better off and understanding how to handle and deal with these emotions. So
Amen.
So, I always got to do it. It's just never not going to come up. We got to think about media. Caesar's like, oh boy, here we go. Yes. In what ways do you feel media, whether it's social media or television, magazines, what have you, TikTok, what ways do we feel media influences men's perception of self-esteem and body image? Because we also know that some men are not comfortable looking at themselves in the mirror, no matter what the issue may be. So whether it's their hair or their body shape, or maybe one arm is bigger than the other, whatever the case may be. How do we feel media plays a role in that? Or does it? Or does it not? Is it just a girl thing? What we thinking?
I think
Caesar,
Caesar probably be a little more
Caesar
aligned
like,
to
I don't know if I want to answer.
answer.
I'll go. Um, let me think. Well, I do agree that it isn't just a girl thing. I think a lot of men go through, wanting to look a certain way or act in a certain way because of what media has, set point for them to believe in. But I think that even with my younger brother, and it's personal, so with my younger brother, I think he wants to be the strong one. He wants to be this. He wants to be that, and it's okay to be strong because I'm always been that way too. So, but he, like you said, he doesn't have to be the punching bag for everything. So he takes a lot of things to heart, and a lot of things he has a lot of emotions. It's not bad, but he is he feels like he shouldn't have.
Right.
So I see, like back then, I think when I was a kid, and I had a poem about it a long. I don't want to read the poem, to be honest with you, but I had a poem about it and about how man will perceive the TV as the dumb one, I guess, back then, I guess. Like in reality, not reality shows, and like TV shows, family TV shows, and everybody was like making fun of the dad, and the dad was basically the punching bag. But that's not always the case in real life. I think my dad was bad in the way that in the way that he was, but he was also good in the way he taught us a lot of discipline sometimes. So I can see that positive even when all the negative was at hand.
Right, right.
But yeah.
See, I love that you bring up the fact that it's not just a girl thing. Like we have those perceptions too. And I guess what I typically see a lot of, especially in young men and even some young adult males, when they see men on TV, right? It's typically these men that's got like 6-pack abs, the muscles, and you get a lot of these young boys or young adult men who feel like they have to look like that. Like that is the body image that gets the girl, or that is the body image that people want to see. When that's not really always, that's not the case. I can't even say it's not always, it's really just not the case. People like what they like, no matter what it is, right? And you are who you are, and we should be accepting of our bodies the way that it is. And if we see things that we want to change, it's okay to change them. But is it really what's going to make you happy in the end? So are you changing how you look for health reasons, or are you changing how you look to fit societal norms? And I think that's typically where I see social media or even TV, like those things playing a role in what men and boys think they should look like. Sis, what you think?
I agree. He's spot on. I think with like looks and everything, but when I think about social media, and then I think about the financial aspect of it. Like they be having these young men buying these women the world, and I'm like, on what planet is a kid gonna have a salary or money to
Yes.
supply that? And not only does it, create this false narrative where these men have to make all this money to take care of these young ladies, it makes the guys with regular jobs seem like losers because they can't afford to do all of it.
Mm-hmm. Absolute. Absolute. Who's social media doing some damage
But
there?
also, I think what affects it too is the woman. I mean, they look at, for example, and then we're talking about men right now. I know, but I think this is important too because of because
Love it.
man would try to like take you out for a date, I think, or like or anything like that. And then women in my generation at least, I think most women would look at you. You take them into a Starbucks and not a fancy restaurant and shit. Oh, sorry. I swear I gotta stop. I'm sorry. But yeah, I think that affects a man. I think too because it's just a standard for what they have to do for a relationship. I think.
I love that you bring that up because that too plays on men's self-esteem. So here you are doing something nice for a female, and now she's being unappreciative of the nice gesture. And so it's kind of like a slap in the face because so what? I didn't take you to this fancy restaurant. I really brought you out so I could spend time with you. And so a lot of times when you're on that coffee date, it's typically the meet and greet. Sometimes that's the very first date you have. So the very first date is you guys getting to know each other. And so I personally don't feel like there's anything wrong with going on a coffee date when I don't know you and you don't know me. But I do see where social media,
Yeah.
just like y'all have mentioned, has put it in people's mind that you got to go to this top tier restaurant on your very first date. And then the conversation at the table becomes who's going to pay? Now everybody mad because it was never a conversation up front and y'all are out. But then the man is made to feel like it is his responsibility to do these things just to get the attention of the woman because she's not even your girlfriend.
Yeah.
And to be honest, it sets the tone, like what Caesar was saying, like it sets the tone to make it even worse relationship. Because
Yes.
like as my mama used to say, you keep them how you got them. So
Yes.
if you find all this money, let's say we find $300 to take her on this fancy date, the first date. Now she think that's what she gonna get every single time, and that can really mess with someone's self-esteem because you can't afford to do that.
Absolutely. And the minute you stop, she's telling everybody you a loser. You weren't about nothing because you couldn't afford to keep her. And it becomes a thing. And so I'm glad that you brought it up because it is look, it wasn't about you talking about women. Look, it is the truth because it all comes back to how these things play a role in men's self-esteem, and then we wonder why they women bashing. So
and then it get even deeper rooted, not to keep alluding to that. But we kind of talked about how young men don't have that example. Young men become older men who didn't have that positive example.
Indeed.
So now these older men out here lurking for these younger women, and they're gonna come because they do have the money to take them on these expensive dates. Because now they're a more established person, and that messes with the self-esteem of the older man, the younger man, and the woman. All just a generational curses.
Look at that ripple effect. But it's very, very true. And look, I'm glad that we can actually sit and have this conversation because I think sometimes this is part of that thing that kind of goes untouched, right? We see it, we hear about it, we watch it on TikTok, we see them plaster it across Instagram, Reels, and on Facebook. And it is a real thing. And I don't think people are really looking at the self-esteem part of that. Like all those things play a toll on somebody's mental health and how people view themselves and the outcome. Because once that damage is done, right, that kind of sets the tone on how you gonna date the next person.
Yeah.
Because after you done went through all this with this chick who's like unappreciative of just going to Starbucks, now you're looking at the next girl like, listen, before we even get started, look, you either gonna take this Starbucks or you not. And now she wondering why you talking to her like that. And like, what did I do to deserve you like coming at me sideways about Starbucks? Like, I like Starbucks. But it sets the tone for everything that happens after. And is very much unfair, but we know that is the cycle that it begins to take on. So I love this conversation. So now, even knowing that, right? What can men do to protect themselves from things like that?
Well, to be honest with you, I'm not sure because I haven't, I haven't really gone out and talked to anyone that much. I know my friends have, but and I usually talk by experience. So, but from that experiences that I had with good women and good people, I think it's just knowing your boundaries. I think like and I even with not even with women, but with friendships in general, I think boundaries are a key point to have. Because I had to set some boundaries yesterday with some of my friends, and it's not to disrespect, it's not to knock them, it's not to you know just throw shade at them, but it's just something that affects me, and I would like them to respect that. So for relationships, I think for I think something can protect them or just have them the knowledge of it would be just to for me. My mom always said, "Take your time. Everything happens in the right time." So you just gotta be patient, I think, and work on yourself first. Do this, do that, until you are mentally and physically and everything straight, financially straight. I think that would be the best option.
I love that advice. Because when I look at it, right, how do we help men protect that self-esteem? How do we help you guys protect your feelings and your images when it comes to like things like that? And I look at like having them open conversations early.
Mm-hmm.
And it starts with what you said, the boundaries. Letting them understand where your boundaries are. Saying this is where I am. And so you're either accepting of this or you're not. And
Yeah.
it kind of saves you in the end when they know up front. I feel like a lot of females come at y'all very early on with the what they want.
Mm.
Especially if they the ones that's looking for them expensive dates, they coming real early on letting you know that they want
Yeah.
the expensive date, right? And so I feel like having that open conversation real early, because if that's what she wants and that's something that you cannot provide, don't even bother taking her to Starbucks. Don't take her nowhere. I'm just saying, like, I'm just being honest. I think that would save a lot of people that issue of feeling like you're not worthy enough.
Mm.
Because it's not that you're not worthy. She is not worthy of you if she cannot accept you for who you are and what you bring to the table. Everybody's not going to be that six-figure person that's able to just shell out $500 to take you to the nearest big name restaurant.
Ball out and stuff. Yeah.
Chances are she can't even afford to take herself.
So I think whoever pays for the date is whoever a deal was for to go to the date. I think.
And see, I'm a huge proponent of I'm paying today, you paying tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
You know what I
Exactly.
mean? Like, I don't always expect my boyfriend to take me out and pay for everything. Like, hey, if I'm saying, hey, it's date night and I'm choosing where we going, I got it.
Yeah.
So it should always be those kinds of conversations. So I think the conversations are what needs to be had, because that's where things get lost, is
Yeah.
when people aren't communicating, and then now your feelings are inserted, and now it becomes that kick to the self-esteem and that kick to your image and how you feel, and then this is what gets carried into new relationships.
Also, being honest, I think it's important too. Being honest with the
Yes.
person, because if like I'm brutally honest, I don't care. To be honest with you, I'm really honest with it when it comes to that. Because you ask me a question, I'll be honest with you. But I always try to be. But it's a lot of people don't like that though. A lot of people do. But I think being honest is so important because if you're not hiding anything, like if you're not trying to hide anything, and you're just being brutally honest, I think it helps the relationship because oh, I can trust this person. I can get some good advice from this person.
Right.
So
Oh, I love it. I love it. What you think, sis? Come on in here.
I think Caesar hit some very valid points. I would say one, lessons learned. I think nowadays youth in general, they're so scared of pain. They're so scared to be hurt. They're so scared to get made fun of. I mean, just in life in general, when you look at relationships, you're gonna get your heart broken. And I mean all relationships. Doesn't matter if it's family, if it's platonic, friendly, or if it's a romantic relationship. Like that just happens. We're all human beings. We put our faith into someone, and at least once or twice in your life, you're gonna be disappointed, if not more. Sometimes I'm disappointed once or twice a week. It just really kind of depends. So like, lesson learned. Once you burn your hand, so I'm not saying don't ever take this young lady out to this restaurant. But if you take this young lady or this man or whoever you take out on this date and they spend all your money and don't want nothing to do with you, that's a lesson learned. So it doesn't necessarily mean close off your heart or don't ever put yourself out there to be vulnerable to find love. It just mean, okay, you got me once. Now I have this knowledge in my mind because everything happens for a reason. So that's one way I think you can, as a young man, you can protect your actual like self-esteem because like you've experienced it. I think once you start to experience life, you're not so fearful of everything that may happen. So for me, just with anything I do, I use it as a lesson learned, whether it was something good or something bad, because you know what they say, everything in life happens for a reason or a season.
Yeah,
So everything isn't meant to be permanent. So just get some lesson learned off that, and just don't beat yourself up for being played. Everybody gonna get played once or twice in life.
absolutely. Well, you said that, sis. It is true. I think a lot of times our young people spend a lot of time like anticipating how to not get hurt. And in that
And there ain't nothing
anticipation,
you can do.
okay, look, you're gonna still end up getting hurt. And I think it hurts you twice as hard because you sat and you tried to build that wall all around you to not get hurt. And now you double hurt because you got hurt while planning not to get hurt.
Exactly.
I know that's a whole lot. That's a roundabout. But I think you
That's
put
for the collection
you
plate right there.
yeah. Oh, hold on. I got you. She like put some money in the plate. All right, put some money in the plate. Y'all know it's coming. Y'all know it's coming. Y'all know it's coming. We got money in the
Yeah,
plate.
you deserve a few dollars out of that.
She like put that money in the plate. Um, but I love that you brought that up because again, I think some of our young people do, they put so much energy into preserving. And I think it's that fear. It's that fear, and it's that I gotta be vulnerable with that. Because if they know that I'm hurting, they're gonna see that they hurt me. And I want them to see that they hurt me. So I gotta protect myself and I gotta protect my feeling. And I think that typically causes more damage in the end because you put so much time and energy into trying to make sure that you don't get hurt, which is why it hurts twice as bad because now you feel like you failed. So you're dealing with a failure, you're dealing with the hurt feeling, you're dealing with the disappointment. And now all of those things are just combined in one, and it's just an overflow of feelings. And all those things play with your self-esteem because now you feel like I can't recover from this, or it's gonna take me so much time to build up. I gotta show my face again. And if they in the same room, I don't want to be in the same room. And I think that becomes the hard part. It really does for a lot of our young people. I know one of the things that I had read earlier. Okay, so we talk about, and I know right before you came in, Caesar, me and Jocelyn was talking about how some men may compare themselves to others and what that kind of looks like. And so one of the statistics that I found, right, it was a research article from the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology. And they talked about how men frequently will engage sometimes in upward social comparison. So they're not even comparing themselves to the people that are around them. These are people who, so I know Jocelyn brought up like some of the men in the military, right? So these will be people who are looking up to those that are in higher ranking statuses, assuming that these are the ranks where they want to be and these are the type of people that they want to become. But a lot of times they don't see the behind the scenes. They only see the tip of the iceberg. They see what they deem as successful. And these are the things that they're striving for.
Yeah.
And so they begin to assess themselves against what they perceive is the end goal. And this contributes to those self-esteem issues. And so I know you didn't get a chance to tap in on that one, Caesar. And Jocelyn had brought up a really good point that a lot of times when we think about how some men are viewing other men or looking up to other men is typically someone outside of their realm, because some of them don't have that male figure to even emulate. So they're looking at those outside figures, and hence why we get that it's someone in upward social comparison. It's not their immediate family member. It's not the father. It's not the uncle. It's not the cousin. It is literally somebody outside that they see as a successful person that they want to emulate. What do you think about that, Caesar? And like, have you found yourself kind of like comparing yourself to somebody else, looking at like, this is what I want to do, or this is where I want to be?
I would be lying if I said I didn't. I mean, I think I don't think it's a bad thing. For example, I think it's a good thing in the way that if you are working towards actually becoming or trying to be someone better than what you were yesterday, or what you see in front of you. I mean, like, for example, me and my friends that go to the gym every day, we have this guy named David Goggins, and we liked a lot of his stuff. And he's a marathon runner and all this and all that. And he is very disciplined, and we often compare ourselves to what he's doing, or try to compare ourselves to what he's doing, because we say we got that motivation from him, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I think and that way it's a good thing, because you can actually get through whatever you're going through in that way, I guess. Like, you got that motivation. But what many people don't see is like you actually have the discipline too
Right.
to
Right.
get there. And then you gotta put in the hard work, and you gotta do this, you gotta do that. So I compare myself a lot to a lot of people, but and not in the way that I'm reminiscing on board, like trying to be not trying to knock myself off, like I'm not they're better than me very much. I'm pretty much saying, like, if you do the hard work, you can get there yourself too, I think.
See, and I think that's key. And I think that's what's typically missing from some of the people who are. So I look at it, right, as even in our young girls, in the viewing of celebrities, okay, and they get so fixated on, this is who I want to become. This is my idea of successful. This is what success looks like. And now they're fixated on that. One of the things you said is like so important. You understood the person that you're looking up to, the person that you're looking at emulating. You know that you got to put in the work to get to that level. You're not looking at becoming their clone. You're looking at, this is what I see, and this is what my end goal is, and now how do I work to get towards that? And I feel like some of our young people miss that step.
Yeah.
What does it take to get to that? Instead, they see they're a millionaire, they're a billionaire, they got these dollars, and that's what I want to be. That's what I want to be. That's what I want to get to.
They want to be the end result.
They want to be the end result, and they don't want nothing in between.
No.
So
I understand that.
And see, I feel like even with the one that you're talking about, right? Have you had conversations with him?
With some of my friends?
Mm-hmm. The ones that you're looking up to?
Oh, yeah. No. The people are looking up to is wait, I don't even know him type shit.
Oh, okay. Now,
But
have you looked them up, like,
yeah,
to
of
know
course.
their history and background?
Yep.
Okay. And see, I feel like some of our young people don't do that.
Yeah. No, because what the people I look up to is now, to be honest with you, when I was a kid and teenager, I mean, when I was younger, I'm not old, but I'm young. But when I was younger, um, it was it was pretty much celebrities, yeah, like movie celebrities and people who work out
Mhm.
and stuff. Nowadays, it's just like people who have discipline, people who do the hard things and show you doing the hard things, and people who can actually like back that. Like I think one of the things that I heard um somebody say that I follow is that have a day to day resume of what you have to do, like what you did. That's your yes, that's your accomplishment. I think. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but that's basically what I said. So have a day to day resume. Don't look at it like, oh, the end result is not always the thing that motivates you the most. I think it's the what you do throughout the to get to the end result.
Yes, yes, that is what you do to get to the end result. And it does, like it definitely plays a role.
Yeah.
Look, I love these conversations, y'all. Got me looking like you know we was already at time. We're getting good. Now, before I end our live, um, last week when we was on, there were some challenges issued. Okay. Yes.
Mm.
One has already hit Facebook. So the one that is on Facebook right now. So men, if you are watching, there's a chance for you to win a $50 gift card. I'm just saying. We're going to pick a person at random next week. But in order for you to get chosen at random, you have to follow the following steps. Okay. So you got to record yourself in the mirror saying, I love you, and post it on your page and tag Steps Foundation Inc. on Facebook. So this is a Facebook challenge. Don't tag me on Instagram. Don't be tagging me on LinkedIn. Tag us on Facebook with your video up saying that you love yourself. Step 2. Now you got to tag another male in the comment section of our Facebook post and tell them that you love them. Step 3. You got to tag a second male. So not the same male that you already tagged to tell them that you love them. You're going to tag a second male. Okay. And then you're going to tell them why you're grateful for them. Because sometimes our men need to hear why people are grateful for them and why we're saying thank you. Some of our men don't hear thank you enough, so they need to hear it. And so this is one way of us showing them those things. Ladies, yes, I got something for you too. Because I know my women can't stay away. You know, they got to feel included. So we'll do a $25 gift card for one lucky lady that we will choose at random. And for that one, you just simply go on our Facebook page and you're going to tag one male in the comments and tell them that you love them and why. Then you will tag a second male. It cannot be the same as the first male that you tagged to tell him that you love him. So you're going to tag that second male and you're going to tell him in the comments why you're grateful for him. Okay. So yes, we got a little something for our men and our women, but because it's Men's Appreciation Month, we want to make sure that we are showing our men some love and appreciation. And so we're choosing 2 men to give $50 gift cards to and 1 lady to give a $25 gift card to, because it's all about our men. So we want to show our men some love. So yes, 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 and yes. Go handle the challenge, people. Go handle the challenge. Yes, we're trying to give things away. So before I end out, is there any words of encouragement to my wonderful co-host that you guys would like to give to the people? Yes.
Always believe in yourself. It's enough self doubt in the world. Don't be another person that's giving self doubt to yourself. And every single day you wake up, it's a chance to be legendary.
Come on now, sis.
God, that was deep. I'm saying. No, that was actually deep. Sure. For me, I think it's hard for me to come up with things from the stuff up, but I would say just believe in yourself, like Miss Jocelyn said, and like I said, I think believe in yourself and be the person that you want to be. Okay, there's nothing that can stop you being the person you want to be. I think if you actually try 100%, you can accomplish everything. So
Yes. Come on, Caesar. See, I know you was over there thinking to yourself, oh, I should have opened my mic before Miss Jocelyn did. And look at that. Look at that. Boom. See, y'all worthy of this collection plate back here with these dollars. Look, sprinkle it in there, sprinkle it in. I so love and appreciate y'all. And again, like, I am so grateful. So I hope all of my men across the world that are watching had a great Father's Day. If you are a father, if you are an uncle, if you are a cousin or brother that are doing great things for the young people, thank you for doing that. Thank you for being who you are. And we wish you all the best. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Talk Tuesday. We're going to tap in again next week. And then next week, it's going to be our last week of Men's Appreciation. So you want to kind of tap into that. Because hopefully y'all going to do this challenge so we can give away some money.
Yeah, for sure.
Just saying. I hope y'all going to participate.
I'm going to share it with some friends.
Get them, Caesar. Get them. We need these men participating. So yes, we want to give away some dollars and we want to like highlight you guys and tell you thank you. And so again, we are looking forward to next week's last episode of Talk Tuesday. So we will speak with y'all next week, good people. Look, let me go ahead and not do what I didn't do the last time so Smitty don't watch and then come at me.
Yeah, where the music at?
Here come the music.